Hello everyone, welcome back to Rich's Garage. So as you can see, we have masking tape on the trailer deck, and that's because today is going to be primer day. But I want to show you everything that's been done on here. So let's flip this over. The landing gear is in place. We talked about putting that in last time, and got the hand crank, the braces, kingpin plate, kingpin, the stake pocket sides, set on the other side, bulkhead is in, get all that in. So it came out nice, it's looking good. I just want to show you what it looks like before and after mast. I'm going to mask the inner piece next, and all I did was, used, I have some 3M Scotch masking tape for painting, and I used a screwdriver to start a scribe between what's supposed to be the metal and the wood deck, and then I went back with an X-Acto and then just cut that so it's a nice clean line. I set it along one edge and I cut the outer edge, and I'll put the other tape on the inside. What I came up with for the landing gear, we spoke about I wanted to have something that would be, I could either put the long legs in for, you can see how, for sitting that in. Obviously there's nothing in the rear suspension, right? This will be up like this. And what I wound up doing is, rather than, I got things like running out to the store and trying to find some brass tube. I had some styrene tube, but it was too big. What I did was I took, I don't know if I have a piece left over, a piece of sprue from the kit, and I just whittled it down, rough cut it. I wasn't going to look crazy. You're not going to really see it too much. And I made my long landing gear, so I can paint these. I'll prime this and paint it. I sanded it, put the taper on it. So I'm happy with that. And since they're not permanently attached, if I don't like the way it looks, I can always change it and just paint. And then we have the for when the trailer's up, these will just press in, and that will take care of that. One thing, the best laid plans sometimes don't always work out. I had test fit, I put the tandem back on here after I put the bumper on. I'm like, gee, maybe I won't be able to get this off. And sure enough, the cross member hits the license plate. I had to sand the license plate down, I don't know, maybe a good 1/16 of an inch, maybe even 1/8 of an inch. But now it'll slide back on and off. So that's just something that it came up. That's the way it is. Even if I had to cut this completely off, I would just make a plate and then just glue it if I had to for the license plate. But it all worked out. I was able to sand enough to get the tandem back on, but not too much where it's going to be too short. This is the rear bumper, the DOT crash bumper. So that goes, let's see here. It's going to go something like that. There's a little tough angle. I'll show you. Hang on here. Trust me. Alright, it goes something like that. And that'll go on. What I'll do is I'll paint these separately. Then I may have to come in and sand a little bit off of here to get back down to the plastic, so the cement will bond it. But that piece gets painted separately. The landing gear gets painted separately. And let me put this aside. And what I did was I started to put the tandem together. And what you can see here is I have 2 of the 3 reservoir tanks in with the little valve on it. And what I thought I'd do is go ahead and put the 3rd one together and record that. Just because, again, there's a fair amount of cleaning, and just to show you how that goes together. And I'll show you how we can get rid of the seam line pretty effectively. So let's give that a shot. So let's see here. Okay, so we're going to cut. Piece is free. Okay. Now, let's see if I can get an angle. You see some of this flashing. You can see the flashing in here. Now these two nubs up here are what's supposed to key into the slide rails. So you see the little triangular type shape. But they're not cast that crisply. Actually, these look pretty good. The first one I did was a little bit of a mess. The second one wasn't too bad. But in any event, we still have to clean up the flash that's on here. And again, say we have to. You really don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to clean it up, but it does make it look better. So the choice is obviously yours. And then in the hole goes the valve. So let me just flip to here. Funny thing about this kit too, well, the way this is cast, they give you a locating pin, but just one on this side, right? Yet the other half has the two holes, right? So, I mean, it's a little odd. I'm just going to go the one all the way to the corner. But, you know, if you weren't sure, if you look at the instructions, this cast piece, this valving, is actually that little line there. So that's how you know what direction to put the thing in. So according to this, we have the angle iron. I'm just taking a look at this, right? I mean, it's keyed, but let's say if these nubs are bad. You can see how the angle iron has got the flat face facing the rear, then at 90s, and you have the edge facing the front. And so this is our front. We're going to have this way. Now what you do is slip it in between the springs. And then I still have to clean it up to get it to fit, but it's going to go up in here like this. And I'll have the valve on the back. So let me glue these together first. And this way, as I clean, I'll clean the seam, and I'll clean this piece here. As I said, a small piece, a little bit hard for you to see, but I'll show you as we go along. So let's get the orientation right. I want this towards the front. And like I said, I like to always try and keep the piece nearby, so this way I have a good reference as to what I'm doing. This is going to go to the front. This piece is going to go to me. And that's going to be that. Alright, so it's going to go like that. Glue. Okay. Right, what I like to do is just to double check. I have the magnifying glass here just to give me a better sight, to make sure I'm square on the edges. You know, that pin is there, but the pin does, allows it to pivot out, right? So I have a pin, but I can still get it skewed up and down. So it's a little ridiculous that they cast a hole, but they only cast one pin. So let's get this as squared up as we can. Okay, now we're ready. So you can see I haven't even glued it. You can see the seam. I'm kind of blocking the light a little bit, but you see that seam line, right? That's pretty. We haven't even put any glue on it, right? So what we're gonna. So I went pretty liberal because that'll melt that down a little bit. And what it's going to do, actually, what you'll see when it's dry. The reason why you want to try to use as little glue as possible in certain spots is because it's going to stay there. It's going to leave like this gloss, like a gloss coat on it almost. And you'll see when this dries what I mean, and then as we sand it, that it goes away. So when you're doing parts that are going to be visible, like even here, if you look right here where my, let's see if I can get the light to shine on it a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Let's see if I tilt it. But there's a little bit of gloss in there. It's actually the adhesive. So you can come back and sand over that. But that's one reason why I prime it. Yeah, I'm going to use, I think it's, I don't think it's Krylon. It might be a Rust-Oleum primer that I have that I actually was spraying some metal tubing with. And I've used it before. So I'll show you that can when I show you the primed deck. Let's put the other side in. I'm going around that fitting. I'm not going directly over it. The simulated valve, doing the edges. Okay. Hold that a little bit. I'm going to sand this before I put the valve on. So let's give that a few seconds to set up. And the reason why I want to show you this is because this is a great way to practice. If you've never really sanded seams or something like that, you can practice on this because no one's going to see if you think that you really screwed something up. No one's going to see it. If you right here. Let's see if I can get a angle on that. Let's go this way. See that little dimple? There's a little bit of a dimple in here. Right about there. Oops, went too far. Right there. Well, if you want to practice, you can see, hey, how does body filler work? You can come in and fill that with some putty and then sand that smooth. And it's a great place to practice as opposed to trying to eliminate a seam that's highly visible on a car or something like that you're doing. So that's what I want to kind of show you. We can make this seam go away. So we see how big that is, right? And I'm just going to try and simulate a little. So I'm rolling this a little bit, just trying to maintain the, as best I can, the cylinder shape. And I do a couple strokes, take a look. Couple strokes, take a look. Right? I'm actually going to the magnifying glass a little bit and just see my progress. Alright, so and I got 2 grits on this stick, and I got a finer grit. So I'll show you that too. So I'm coming in, squaring this up a little bit, getting that nub off. Okay, so let's compare that. A little too far. So you see how we got the gloss on the left, right? That's actually the solvent that's sitting there. And we've taken out, you really can't see too much that seam just yet, right? So I'm going to now hit it with a finer. One side 600, one side's 800 on this. So I'm going to go to 600. And again, I'm just rolling it. I'm trying not to go straight through. I don't want to take the curve out. I'm just kind of letting it follow. And I'll come back with the other side. Alright, so, we're zooming in on this right close. So that's the back side. Let's try this side. As you can see, it's pretty much gone, right? Now, again, you can practice. If you want to go crazy, you can put a little bit of putty over and make sure there's any voids in there that we're filling in. But once we spray this with primer, you're not going to see it. So I'm going to clean up the other side. So basically, that's what I just wanted to show you. I'm going to continue on and clean this up. I'll clean up both sides. The ridge that's on here, the air valve is this piece here, this little nub guy here, right? And so we'll cut him off, and then there's no real cleaning on him. It does have a little pin that's hard to see, but there's a little locating pin that'll go in that hole. I'll glue it into here, and then all I'll have left on here will be the brakes, the brake cylinder, and the axle covers. So basically I'll be finishing up the suspension portion of this, and then this is ready for primer. The lock for this slide I'll paint separately as well. Clean it up and paint that separately because you don't want that to be affixed. And that will be that. So the next time we get together, you'll see everything primed, and I'll show you the paints that I'm going to use, and we'll be on the path to finishing.